Hey everybody, it's Michael from Bay Area Hiking Guides, and in this video I'm going to talk about the importance of water when hiking in the more hotter months. Coming up. Okay, so as you can see, I'm up here on this beautiful ridge here. You can see Mount Diablo right there, beautiful. But as we look at it right now, currently the mountain is green and lush and really awesome to check out. And if you haven't, this is a great year to check out the wildflowers. I've not seen so many in a long time. We got a lot of rain this year and wildflowers are bonko crazy everywhere. But once we get further into the hotter months, we get past spring, we get into summer. Having the importance of water is such a crucial part to not only for you when you're hiking, but for your body. And if your body doesn't receive the amount of water that it needs, it's going to start letting you know real quick. You can get into multiple different stages from heat exhaustion to heat stroke to your body starting to break down and not being able to operate like it normally does when it has the amount of liquid that it needs. Having water with you is a crucial part of keeping that all into flow, as well as salt. Salt is a crucial part. Now, I know a lot of people love to go out there and drink the electrolytes and have some Gatorade. Everybody loves to have Gatorade, get some electrolytes and do stuff, and that's very important to have those electrolytes. If you're a big Gatorade fan, that's fine. It does contain a lot of sugar, so some folks don't recommend it. I am really into the salt, so if you want to bring some pretzels, some salty chips, which do kind of break down a little bit, so you got to understand the chips, they get all kind of crumbly. But something, and I'm a big fan of cashews. Like, I'll get the roasted cashews that'll have salt on them, so I'm bringing that salt back into my body. When it's hotter, your body's going to be rapidly getting rid of that salt. When you sweat, you ever lick your arm or something, you're like, God, it's kind of salty, right? That's all the salt just coming off your body. And the hotter it is, the more workout you're doing, the more salt you're going to lose. So you always want to be complementing your water with some salt, and make sure you put salt in your body just as much as you put water in your body as well. Now, there's a various amount of different the hydration reservoirs that you can buy. There's a lot of them out there in the market. REI's got a ton of them. I'm kind of more of a person that's like, well, I want to buy something that's going to last me a pretty good amount of time. And I'm a big fan of the platypus. I like platypus a lot, and I'll show you that right now. We'll go through the platypus as I get in my gear here. Okay, so this is my platypus, and I'm going to go ahead. I like to tuck it. Most of these backpacks have little areas where you can put the your little hydration reservoir in them. I'm going to pull this guy right out here. This is my reservoir, right? I got 3 liters of joy, 3 liters of fun. Good times. I'm already drinking some. I've already down about a liter in a day like today, and it's kind of cold. So, what I like about these is they have the upper strap. I pull that guy right off. Boom, ready for action. And then I can just go ahead and I can fill them up. Okay, put the water inside, and I'm good to go. It's an easy in and out. And the other cool thing about them is I can click this guy right off. It might drip a little bit of water, but nothing really that serious. And I can pull it out, bring it over to a sink, bring it over to where I'm getting that water from, and I'm right in, ready to go for action. So, and I can just pop it back on, and I can close it, and I'm good to go. And I just pop that back into play, and I'm going to shove it back in, and I'm good, ready for hiking. Now, the other thing to take into account is if I need to clean it and wash it out, it's easy for me to do that. A lot of the older versions of the platypus were a lot more difficult to do that, the ones that didn't have the strap, and that was one of the biggest bummers. But these guys are a lot easier to do that. I will let you know, if you want to put in the powdered Gatorade, which you can do, and you can go get powdered Gatorade, and if you want to have like switch it out with Gatorade. I don't recommend doing all Gatorade on a hike, but let's say you wanted to do that. Or some other form of electrolytes inside of here. Now, this is what happens. So, when you do that, what's going to end up happening is about a day, 2, maybe 3, it'll start kind of blackening. You'll get these little black mold spots, and you want to get on top of that quick. So, one way to do that is flush everything out with water. Warm water, flush it out. Not too hot, but warm water, flush it out a few times when you get back home and get all that stuff out of there. Otherwise, it'll just take a short amount of time and it will just start burning all that mildew and stuff that it builds up inside. Not fun, and it's just a bigger problem waiting to happen. So I always have water in here, and if I want to use a Gatorade or something, I'll just put that in another container. Now, if you want to bring a hydro flask, totally cool. I know it keeps the water cool, and people like that. But it takes a little longer for your body to cool down that water and then start using it as a resource. So take that into account. I like room temperature water. It's quicker. It gets in. Immediately my body can start using it. If it's too cold, it's going to take a while for the body to break that stuff down, get it back to room temperature, and good to go. So always, always, always have yourself enough water. The only other issue I've had, I was down in the Grand Canyon. I was in 19 degrees in temperature. I think there was 15 in the morning, but I think it was generally 20 degrees, and it was starting to freeze. So my pipe was freezing from the outside, so I had to constantly keep sipping water through. You can get these little sleeves that you can put around to help prevent that from happening. I didn't bring mine that day, that trip, but that's one of the issues that I've had with them. But out here, we don't really typically have that issue, so you're in good hands. And then just pop that guy back in there. And it's game on. It's game on. Boom. And you're ready to go. And I just like that quick release. It's so awesome. Zip it up, and I'm ready to go out for a hike. And they've got them from 2 liter. I think they even have a 1.5 liter that you can get. And they got a 2 liter and a 3 liter. I always stick with a 3 liter. I need something that's going to be able to carry a lot of water if I need to. And that's definitely a good way to go. As we get closer to the summer months, the water supply that you're going to possibly receive during the springtime in Mount Diablo will diminish and quick. You're not going to be getting the abundance of water like you see now. It's going to start diminishing, and there'll be barely anything left. And there'll be little puddles and pools in some places. You don't want to drink that water. Don't just directly go there. Have a nice drink of water. I did a whole video on filtration. You might want to check that out. I'll leave that after the video. And then always having the tablets with you. I go through that as a video as well, is also pretty important. Because just in case you have a situation where you need to get water, it's a good way to go. As that water is not available, you're going to have to drastically do whatever you can to find water. And having enough water on you is definitely going to give you that sense of security. In the hotter months, when it comes to June and July, I'm typically carrying about, I'll carry anywhere from 3 to 5 liters of water. I do this because one reason, I go through a lot of water, and I go through a lot of water quick. My body demands water quickly. I've had times when I'm hiking in 80 degrees and I'm going through 3 liters of water, boom. So I carry a little bit more, but typically I'll carry anywhere from 3 to 4. And it also depends on how many miles I'm doing and how hot it is outside. Obviously, the hotter it is when it's a furnace, the more demand for water you're going to need. I don't recommend going hiking when it gets past 100 degrees unless you're just doing a little casual hike, maybe a half a mile or a mile, or you're doing it later in the day, because it can get pretty dangerous, and there's some very serious, dangerous conditions that you're going to have to deal with if you're out there. So take that into account. If you're only doing a few miles, 1.5 liters, 2 liters might be okay, but depending on what the temperature is. If you're doing a longer hike, let's say you're going to go up to the falls and you're going to do 4 or 6 miles, and you want to go ahead and, it's in an area that's either really humid or really hot, you're probably going to need about 3 liters of water. And that goes for everybody in the hiking group. They should all have about 3 liters of water. Beth carries less than that, and she generally does okay. A lot of people, I notice this a lot. This is a big mistake that a lot of people make, is they go out there like, "Hey, what's up, bro? Yeah, man. let's head out there and hit the mountain, man. Hey, I got a little dinky bottle of water. Let's use this, man. That'll be enough, man. We're camels, bro. You're not camels, first of all. And secondly, it'll suck you dry. So, nature is a beautiful thing. We love it so much. It's remarkable. It's fantastic. It's like, oh my gosh, I love nature. It has so much potential and so many wonderful things to give us. But it has another side. It's something you always need to be prepared for, because if it gets hot on Mount Diablo...
That you could come on Mount Diablo because the name sounded cool. That you go and climb it up there with your bros with a sippy cup. Well, I got news for you, pal. Here's a certification of being doomed. No more quenching of your thirst. You're doomed. Vultures unite. Welcome to Mount Diablo.
or anywhere in the Bay Area. It'll suck you dry. So take that into account. Be prepared, okay? The other thing to always take into consideration, some of these parks have water taps, and they've got places that you can go to tap and get water from them, like Mount Diablo. I like talking about Mount Diablo since it's behind me, but a lot of these places have water taps, and some of them are available all year, and some of them are not, and they kind of don't really notify you when they're shut down and what ones are going to be shut down. They just shut them down, so you're not able to get water from those taps. And I've noticed that in the summer sometimes I'll go into Mount Diablo and we have no water. So always consider that when you're out there hiking, to know that, you know, how far you're going to go and if there's any water available, but sometimes there's not, so have enough water on you. Platypus is great. I use that. I love them. They last me a good amount of time. I've had one platypus I had for about 4 years, 4.5 years, and then it started breaking down on me. But Beth uses an outdoor product. I don't really generally like them because they tend to only last about 1.5 years or 2 years, maybe more. And I know that on platypus I can get a lot more out of it. You know, Osprey makes hydration packs as well. I don't have too much. I haven't used their products, so I don't know too much about it, but they work pretty well. I've gotten their bite valves before, and I've kind of had an issue with it. Kind of leak a little bit. They're kind of a little harder to close. The platypus bite valves are pretty good. And that's one thing that you will be changing on a regular basis, because as you continue to make out with your bite valve, it'll eventually start breaking down, and you'll have to change out the bite valve. But that usually will last for about 1.5 years. You know, depends on how much teeth you like to use, how much of those choppers you like to put in your bite. So I hope that helps, and always take into account, be prepared, understand what's out there, and always make sure your body has enough water in it to continue to generate, and make sure you're pumping those salts back in there. A lot of people say, well, you've got the sodium diet, sodium's bad for you, no salt in your diet. But really, honestly, you need to put salt in your body. It needs to be in there because your body's going to get rid of it. So you got to help your body out, because if you don't help your body out, it's going to start saying, all right, we're going to break down resources, and you're going to feel it. Thank you guys for all your support. You're so wonderful. I've been getting such an amazing amount of feedback, as well as an abundance of support. It's just fantastic. It makes me realize how much I want to just continue on this channel. There's some really awesome people out there, and I've been able to hike with a few people already. Go out here and do some hiking. It's just been great. Awesome. So awesome. I am so thrilled. There's some really, really good people too. Really, really awesome hikers. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It means a lot.